Hello, so we're going to try and make up some email addresses today as fast as we possibly can. We're aiming to make them for Google Apps for Education. Um, I'd say this is going to work quite well for any bulk upload. If you want to do this, what you're going to do before you do anything is you need to get a spreadsheet of the users you wish to create email addresses for. You make that from VSware or you make it from ePortal, and if you can't, probably somebody in the admin staff can probably do it for you. But if you don't have that, you're not at that. You also need to download Notepad++. That's plus plus. It looks like this. Download one of those. They'll all do the same job. They'll definitely do the job we want to use, and it's will be pretty quick. And finally, you also need to download the user upload CSV from Gmail. That looks like this. Possibly can be done after at the very end, and maybe it doesn't need to be done at the front. But we need to create a CSV file that has names, first name, last name, an email address, and a password. It also needs an org path. If this is your first time creating anything in Google Apps for Education, then we might be able to get away with that pretty quickly. If you just put in something like student 2020, it'll put it in a file student 2020, or maybe you've already got one and you're going to go student 2020. Something like that will be what you need to do. If you've got any questions on that, really, you need to probably refer back to Google Support or support.google. They really do have lots of stuff on this. It's not as complicated, but you probably need to think about that a lot more than I'm going to be able to direct you, because your needs are going to be different to what I've done. Let's go back to just creating email addresses quickly, which is what I'm here to show you. Here's a class that I got downloaded from my school. It's not a real class. These people don't really exist, and that's a bit safe. So I need to create their email addresses, and the first thing I want to do is I want to have their first name first and their surname second. Call me old-fashioned. So that's going to be equals this and percent this, and that's that. That's the first one. Emma Bazzi, how are you? And we go the whole way down until we get to Nathan Toad there. And there's all my names. There's one problem here, is that I've got some very odd symbols. I certainly don't want apostrophes, and I don't want gaps between names, and I don't want foddas. That such things make it much harder for someone to stay in communication. So I'm going to copy all these, and I'm going to go over to Notepad++. This is Notepad++ what it looks like. So I'm just going to paste them all in here. So there you go. There's 30 names in there. Select them all. I'll go with the first one, and I'll go convert case to lowercase. That makes it much easier for everybody to communicate with people. Then I'm going to go to search, and I'm going to go replace. First thing I want to replace is I want to replace the spaces with nothing. That's it. And I'm going to replace the apostrophes also with nothing. Bang. And then I'm going to replace this I fodder. And I just want to, oops, a daisy. I want to replace it with I and replace all those. I've checked this file out a number of times, and that's the only, it's the last of them. So that's how you do it. If you've got other strange characters, you just replace them and make them a little bit easier for everybody to contact. And there we go. So there we go, from Emma to Nathan. I've got everybody cleaned up and stuff. So I'm going back to my spreadsheet, and I'm just going to replace them all there. Cool. Nearly have the email address made. So I'm going to say this E column is full of my email addresses, and I'm going to say the name, and a little bit of text. So in order for us to differentiate in our place between one Emma Bazzi and another Emma Bazzi, assuming they're in different years, I'm just going to add the year that they joined. So this is going to be 20. This is the incoming first years. At your school.edu, where your school.edu is actually your school's domain. So it could be dublinhighschool.ie, it could be academyofscience.com or whatever, and that's that. And so that makes us an email address which says emmabazzi20 at yourschool.edu, and that's pretty much it. And bang, there's everybody's email in that group, done in no uncertain time. Okay, so now I need to make passwords. I'm going to use their class name, Hercules, as the basis of their password. So I'm going to make it the basis, but I'm not going to make it everything. If I made it everything, that would mean that Killian could log into Thomas's with no real hassle. So we're just going to add a little bit of hassle, and we're just going to pick a random number. Equals rand, and you can see they're coming up now. Rand between is what we're looking for. I want to do that. It says put in the lowest number, so I'm going to put in 1,000, and then put in the highest number. I'm going to go 99,999 and close that. You can pick any numbers you want. This gives me a big enough range, really. Google wants you to have passwords that have at least 8 characters. I think Hercules actually has 8 characters in it itself, but that's not really any good. So I'm going to say equals this and this, and now I've got passwords that are something to identify them, to know a class, but also with a little bit of uniqueness. That's the number. Okay, right now I'm pretty much finished. The crucial bit here is to download it or export it as a comma separated value. When I do this, and I click on this, it's going to open an Office for me. It's not necessarily what I designed it to do or what I wanted to do, but it's another package. It's another browser. Here it is. Okay, so from here I can load it into what I want. So these are no longer going to change. I can delete that, and that's okay. It's not going to change these passwords. So go with the first names of Emma down to Nathan in there, hang in there, last name, wrong way. Email addresses. Finally, the passwords. And finally, that. Lovely. This is all saved as users one. Save it again. So users one. Make sure it's a CSV. We're going to use that later. And maybe you can call it Hercules emails 2020. Save it. Go on over to Google. I can't actually go to Google from here. Go on over to Google and upload it there. That's how you make your email addresses. I really hope this has helped you. That's a quick way. Thanks very much. Bye. Bye. Ah, yes, there you are. Bye.